Hey guys, it's Dee. I hope everyone had an amazing Christmas holiday, and we've got New Year's coming up. And I did want to follow up with a quick little video about goals, because I know I said I was going to make a further video, and I'm going to just dive right into it this time because I've got a way for you to approach setting and achieving your goals in a way you've probably never heard of before. And it's because it's got a healthcare angle to it, because you know I'm a nurse, and the way we approach patient care and the way we prioritize and what we do with those priorities. So the last video I talked about what your priorities are versus what you want them to be. So once you've established that and you know what your priorities are, you might have 3 or 4 priorities, maybe you have more. I'm sorry, I need a Kleenex, I have a runny nose. But just allergies. Anyways, so what you're gonna do with these priorities is you're going to triage them. And that's a healthcare word, and basically all that means is that we're going to identify needs versus wants. And life or death, you're going to identify the most serious and the most life impacting to the least life impacting. And the ones that are come out the highest as the most life impacting and the most important in your life, that are going to affect you in the most significant manner, those are the goals we're going to go for first. And you don't want to go and try and attack all your goals at once. You want to do them in a SMART goals manner, and I'm sure you've heard about SMART goals before, but if you haven't heard about it before, I'll just quickly run through it. You need them to be specific. You need to be very specific with the goal you're setting. You need it to be something you can measure, so you can measure your progress. You want it to be something that is achievable, that's like something that is actually you yourself can achieve independently. You want it to be realistic, something that's not out of this world, something that is going to take you forever. You want it to be able to be something that's realistic within a timeline that you can set, and you want it to be in a timely manner, and that's the last, there's your T. And you want it to be something that you can achieve in a specifically short amount of time. And what we're going to do is, by making your larger goals into small goals and setting SMART, like the SMART criteria, to smaller goals in that will help you in the end, maybe over a 3 or 4 month period, achieve your major goal, and then you can move on to another goal or two, right? So this is a completely different way of looking at things. So let me give an example. Let's say your example is that you are a compulsive Amazon shopper. So this is something I've worked with. I've had to work on myself. I'm like, it's so easy to see something you want or think of something you need, pick up my phone, my face logs me in, and I just hit add to my cart and purchase, and it's done. And then at the end of the month, I look at my statement, I'm like, holy hell, like I just ordered like 20 times off Amazon. Like, and even if it's $5 things or $10 things, this stuff adds up, right? And it's usually stuff that I could do without. But there's different ways to approach achieving these goals in a different mindset. So first of all, I want to advise you that if you're somebody like me who makes impulsive decisions, the very first way I go about changing that is, for instance, if I want to buy something off Amazon, what I did is I would say, okay, if I want it today and I need it, and this is a great deal, this deal's still going to be there tomorrow, I'm going to wait 24 hours, and if I still want it tomorrow, then I'm going to make the order. So that's one way to achieve your goals and your smaller goals. So by setting like changing up your patterns and your habits and how you're doing these things that you want, these behaviors that you want to change. So change the way you conduct your behavior, and that will help you achieve your goal because it breaks the habit, the easy habit. So let's say your habit is to stop spending so much on Amazon, and you've been spending, let's say you're spending $200 on Amazon a month, and you want to spend $50 on Amazon a month. That's your goal. Or you want to take it down from 15 purchases to at the maximum of 2 purchases a month. So there we go. That is very specific. I want my purchases online to add up to no more than 2 purchases per month. There's your specific for SMART. And you want it to be measurable. So that's really easy. You look back at your last month's statement, you look at how many purchases you made, and then you're going to realize how many less you want to make this month, and that's how you're going to measure it. It's easy. Like, you either made 30 purchases or you made 2 purchases, right? So, and then you want it to be attainable. That's absolutely attainable, and you can do it by employing different techniques. Like I said, for instance, wait 24 hours. If you still really think you need something and you really need it in your life, and it's something you need versus want right now, then wait 24 hours and that need will still be there. That's a way to make that attainable. Okay? And you want it to be realistic. That's absolutely realistic. Your shopping habits are within your own control, within your own decision-making abilities. That's a realistic goal. And if you want it to be timely, then you have a goal of bringing it down. Let's be realistic here, in 3 months, from $200 a month to $50 a month, or from 15 purchases a month to 2 purchases a month. Set that out over a 2-month period or a 3-month period to make that timely, but to make it more realistic as well. Okay? So you can measure your progress each month, how much you've decreased yourself by employing your new tactics, such as waiting 24 hours to purchase, such as determining if this is life or death, triaging the need of the value and the need of what this purchase is. Like, is it something you absolutely need to function in your everyday life, or is it something that you just want and that would be fun? And it's okay to do want sometimes, and maybe you'll end up making your 2 purchases a month things you want, because it'll turn out that none of these things are things you absolutely need. So, and that'll be a way to treat yourself at the end of the day. So once you achieve your goal. So let's say in your first month, you've made that that's your goal. So if you're going to do it over 2 or 3 months, break it down. Say, in this first month, I'm going to take it from 15 purchases down to 10 purchases. And it's measurable. You're going to be able to count that when you look at your statement. It's achievable. That's not too many. You're knocking out 5 of them, and it's attainable. And you're going to employ your new techniques. Think of some ways you can change that shopping behavior, and such as the waiting 24 hours, or using that triaging method I told you about, where you're going to determine if this is something that you need to, like, sustain your life or death every day, sustain your, like, the function of your household, or financially be able to keep yourself afloat because you're falling behind on bills because you're spending so much on Amazon. Like, all of these things are going to determine if the priority of it, and if it's something that's high priority, then it is something that it's attainable, and it is realistic for you, because it's all up to you to stick to your new guidelines and your new tools that you've come up with, and you are measuring your progress each month. Pay attention to it. Count it out. Look at your statements. Don't ignore them. Don't put them off. If you failed this month and you spent 17 instead of your normal 15, that's okay, because you learned something. That maybe when you're under pressure and you're feeling stressed, maybe you're shopping more, and you're under pressure because you're trying to spend less, so you're hitting it more. Or maybe it was just a bad month. Maybe you had a birthday of someone in your family and you did a lot of birthday shopping on Amazon. Or you can look back and reflect on what caused that behavior and what caused you to not achieve that smaller goal. And you can come up with new tools or new ways, or identify what those causes for what that failure was, and you can curb those causes and avoid those causes from coming up in the next month, and thus improve your method or your way to achieve your goals. The problem is, a lot of people, if they fail the first time around, or they fail in their first little chunk, they just give up. They're like, oh, I failed, I blew it, and they just stop right there. You didn't fail, you learned something. And every time you fail, that's an opportunity for you to gain more tools in your toolbox. You look at what you did wrong and what factors you were looking at when you made that decision, and where your mindset was wrong in the factors you were looking at and your decision-making criteria. And you change your decision-making criteria. So change it to a triaging approach, like most important to least important, right? Think of another one. Let's think of a more serious one. I mean, not many people smoke these days, but quitting smoking. a lot more people smoke than you even know because they're closet smokers, because it's so socially unacceptable these days. But as a healthcare provider, you hear people's health histories. They come in, they tell you, yeah, I smoke. So I know a lot of people do. So it's quite common, nothing to be ashamed of. There was a time when it was acceptable, and it's just not that easy to kick, right? So it's habit also and physical dependence. So it's two battles, and both of them are equally strong. So an approach to this, one of the tools you can use in your toolbox, if let's say quitting smoking was your goal, is to change your habits around smoking. Make it measurable. Say, I want to cut down from smoking 25 cigarettes a day, a pack a day, which is usually the common. A lot of people smoke more than that. A few people smoke less than that, but the common is a pack a day. And for someone who's been a smoker for a while, and say, I want to cut it down to a pack every 2 days. And that's my goal for the next 2 months. So let's think of ways I can do that. And I've got some ideas for you, some ways you can do that. So, and you can do this for yourself. Think of, you got to sit down and get a paper out and brainstorm which ways you can cut yourself down. Let's say you smoke every day as soon as you get in the car and you do your commute. So make a rule that I'm not going to smoke anymore when I'm in my car. So that'll cut out a few cigarettes a day. If you smoke every day while you are having coffee, whenever you have a coffee, you have a cigarette. Change that up and say, I'm not going to smoke anymore when I'm drinking the coffee. I'm going to separate those two behaviors. So your brain is separating those two dependent behaviors from each other. So you're changing. It's sort of like you're changing the neural pathway and the neural connections behind that behavior, and all of a sudden it brings it down to a physical dependence as opposed to a habit problem, because you're changing that habit and breaking the habitual habit of smoking when you're driving, smoking when you're drinking coffee, smoking whenever you get on the phone. I won't smoke anymore while I'm talking on the phone. So little things like that, changing your behavior changes those neural pathways and changes the habit portion of it. And then you can just work on the physical dependence. And there's multiple ways to do that. You can use NRT, so like nicotine replacement therapy, like use the patch, use stuff like that. Some people do best when they just go cold turkey and cut it out. Some people are actually really good at that. Scientifically, it's been proven that people are more successful over the long run if they use the nicotine replacement therapy. But science doesn't really always equate for people's personal factors, and some personalities work differently, and some people are just best to make a decision and just cut it out and that be it. But I would recommend cutting it down slowly, changing your behavior patterns, so changing when you smoke, changing how, like what times, and what you're doing usually when you smoke, and taking those factors out of it and making smoking a completely separate behavior than the things you usually do it with, because in your brain you associate it with, I smoke when I'm on the phone, I smoke when I'm in my car, I smoke when I'm having a coffee. And change those neural pathways. And if you do that, it's going to bring it down to just a physical dependency. And physical dependency is something you can scientifically change. And that is something that is just it's physical, it's chemical, it's hormonal. You can do that through nicotine replacement therapy, using those patches every day and minimizing it. Patches also, if you live in Ontario, there's something called Quit on the Net, and it's through CAMH, and that's the Center for Mental Health and Addictions. And if you fill out a questionnaire online, they will send you a big box of free nicotine replacement patches that go from full 28 milligrams down to the lowest dose. And they also come with lozenges or gum, whatever you prefer, for breakthrough when you get a craving. And it's all for free. And that's a big barrier for some people with NRT because it's very expensive in drugstores to purchase. But if you look on Quit on the Net, you will get in touch. It'll get you to the CAMH website. And as long as you're not someone who's currently vaping while you smoke and using NRT things while you're smoking, you'll be approved, and they'll send this big box out to you with enough for you to quit from beginning to end, and you'll get that all for free. And I don't know if other provinces have this, but I do know that it is available across Ontario. And a lot of our patients use it, and I've recommended them use it, and they're successful. So, but you gotta really wanna quit. You wanna change this behavior. And any behavior, any habit you wanna change, you gotta really wanna change it. So, another thing with quitting smoking is another behavior tool you can use is if you've been quitting, you're being successful, but you feel like right now I'm going to break my chain of success and I need to have a smoke right now. Say, okay, I can if I want. Like, it's up to you. You make that decision. It doesn't mean it's a complete failure just because you've had a smoke. You haven't ruined it. But I'm going to wait 15 minutes. And if in 15 minutes I still want that smoke, then I'm going to have it. And in the meantime, I'm going to drink a full glass of water. And in 15 minutes, if I still want it, then I'll have it. And then you've learned something about yourself. But 9 times out of 10, by 15 minutes, the craving is past, because scientifically, it's proven that cravings usually last about 7 to 10 minutes, and then they pass on their own. And if you drink water, that helps. So by 15 minutes, you might be like, well, I don't really feel like it now, and I can get by without it. It's not a need to have. It would be a nice to have, but it's not a need to have. And again, that's triaging that need. How bad is that need for you right now? So using that triaging approach to like assess everything in the behavior modification processes when you are looking to achieve goals. I've got a little dog breaking into my room right now, so if he jumps on me, I apologize. It's my little chicken. So anyways, there he is. Hi, chicken. You want to say hi? This is my chicken. Chicken needs to break some habits. He needs to pee more on his pad, but none of these approaches seem to be working for him. That's okay. He's cute. I'll keep him. That is pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about using that triaging method of wants versus needs and prioritizing those needs. And like you've already established based on our last video, what's your priorities, what you want them to be. So not what they are, but what you want them to be. Make those your new priorities and then set those priorities in a triaging manner. Whereas the most important, the most significant, the most severe, that'll have the biggest impact on your life, down to the nice to have priorities. And the things that you'd like to change. Like, I'd like to start going to the gym every single day. You know what? That's great for your health, but if you want to, like, let's say you want to start working on that right away. Even one of your lower priority goals. I mean, it's not low priority to get in shape and to be healthy and fit, but going to the gym every single day is a big chunk to bite off. That's a big, huge chunk. I would start with something small. For the next month, I'm going to make it a habit to move my body every day first. So make sure you go for a 20 or 15, make it doable, make it achievable, make it a SMART goal, measurable, realistic, attainable, timely, like something, say for the next 30 days, I'm going to move my body every day for 15 minutes. And whether that be doing some stretches or whether it be walking to the corner and back, depends how inactive you are. You want to start from low activity to high activity. You don't want to just go to the gym and start working out like crazy. It's not good for your heart, it's not good for your body, it's not good for your mind, and it's not achievable, and it's not usually attainable over the long term. It might be for a few days, but it's not something that you'll be able to maintain. So small chunks, realistic goals, set them in a timely manner, so make the timing realistic of it and spread them out. And you don't have to achieve everything January 1st. You might want to start working on your priority goals, on your top triaged life or death, most significant, most life impacting goals January 1st, or start working before January 1st on them. This is the time to start planning before January, looking at the tools you have, looking at ways to reduce the number of cigarettes you smoke, looking at ways to increase your physical activity on a daily basis. That's a reasonable, attainable method of doing it. Looking at ways to reduce your spending online and tactics that you can use in your own mind to delay that spending and therefore be able to process that decision, as opposed to making an impulsive decision without really processing the pros and cons of making that choice. So that's really all I have for you today. I wanted to share that triage method with you of setting your priorities now that you have them in line and deciding which ones you want to work on first, and tools that you can use to help you reach these goals, and to make sure you break them up into smaller segments. Don't go for like the whole shebang all at once, like the big long goal, January 1st, I'm hitting the gym every single day. Break these up into, over the next 3 months, I will, between now and 3 months from now, I will go to the gym every day in 3 months, and start working slowly towards that goal. And even once you get to the gym, you don't have to do crazy lifting and running and cardio and muscle toning and all of that. Maybe just going to the gym and spending 20 minutes on the treadmill walking, that is a huge win. If you can make yourself do that in 3 months, you've already won, because you have changed your behavior. You've done some serious behavior modification and changed your behavior in such a significant way that now you've developed a new habit. So make it realistic. Don't overwhelm yourself with things that become a burden. Make it something that you look forward to, because you could achieve it. And when you achieve it, it makes you feel good. It increases your endorphins, your dopamine, everything. When you have these small wins, and that is a good feeling, and that in your brain will be attributed to achieving that goal, that smaller win. And that will make it more likely that the next day you're going to want to achieve that small win again, because your brain remembers that dopamine dump you got from the last time that you achieved that goal. So just remember that, guys. Break it down, make it small, use SMART goals. Don't forget that. If you don't remember everything I said about SMART goals, just Google SMART goals, and it'll come up with all different ways to break them down. And use the triage method. Wants versus needs, and prioritizing your needs, and identifying what's the most significant on your lifestyle and on your day-to-day living, and what you need the most to be able to maintain a healthy, well-balanced, safe, secure, and happy lifestyle, versus things that you might want that make you happy, make you feel good, but they're not priorities. They're not essential for you to be able to live a healthy life. So that is, and a financially stable life, because finances are a big one. Like, a lot of goals will be finance related. I know a lot of mine are, and a lot of most people's are, because everything comes down to finances. When you're not standing on your feet financially, and you feel like you're in a weak spot, it's like a burden on your shoulders that you can't shake. It's just stressful, and it makes you avoid looking at it. It makes you avoid addressing the issues. So that's a big one. So just look at it in small chunks, small pieces, small things. Look at your toolbox and what you've got and what you can change, and write it all down. You're more likely to remember things and stick to them if you write them down, and you're more likely to be able to process and be creative and come up with smaller ideas, smaller ways to achieve these goals when you write them down on paper. So that's all I have for you today. I know it was a lot. I dumped a lot on you, but it's a different way of looking at things. I don't see a lot of people talking about looking at things this way online. So it's a little bit different, and it really does work, and it's helpful. So it has worked for me. It's worked for most people I know. It's a scientifically proven method to achieve goals and to make things happen that you need to happen. And I hope you guys try it out, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you've tried it on the smallest things or the biggest things. It can be the smallest goal in the world. And you know what? You lay it out in a SMART goal fashion, write it down, and keep track of it, and you'll find that you've changed your behavior. And it's all about behavior modification. So guys, best of luck, and I hope I see some comments and see what you guys think. And if you think it's all rubbish, then just let me know. And if you've tried it and been successful in the past using SMART goals and triaging, you might not have called it triaging, but that's what you've actually done. Let me know. And I hope everyone has a lovely and happy New Year's. You'll probably see me before that. And enjoy every day. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.